Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, we have more information with the actual different flight plane. Now, the reason why I didn't want to do this and make this a separate video is most just due to the fact that if I added this on top of the other video, it'll be like 20 or 30 minutes long, and nobody's going to watch that. Nobody wants to pay attention to it. So instead, I'm doing this separate video so everybody can watch instead. So, what we have here is pretty much just the whole crux of the situation. Apparently, DEI had more effect on this than we thought, because now we don't know. There seems to be a lot more information that DEI was involved. And to add insult to injury as well, it seems that there was a lot of promotion about this. And it ain't great. It ain't great. Now, I'll go over some few statistics as well, over some of the women that have been involved in this. And we don't know if the pilot was a female or not, but if it is, that may pose a problem. Now, what we have here is from the Tribune saying the Delta upside down plane crash allegedly involved all female crew. The upside-down crash of a Delta flight in Toronto has sparked intense scrutiny and debate, particularly surrounding the pilot's identity and the role of diversity, equity, and inclusion, aka DEI. The incident occurred on Monday at Toronto Pearson International Airport when a Delta-operated bombarder CRJ-900 aircraft flipped upside down during its landing attempt, injuring 21 people. Of course, we all know about the one that ended up killing around 67 people. That was unfortunate, and it's a horrible tragedy. From Nick Shorter has said, it's interesting how Delta hasn't released even a sliver of information on the pilots in yesterday's crash. What's going on, Delta? Who was flying the plane? I agree. You need to release the actual flight attendant, of the actual people here, right? We need to have information on who the flight attendant was, because these videos are not going to be looking too great if this might be the reason why, actually, they are not releasing the video or the actual information of the pilot, because it might be an actual female, and that would hurt them very, very badly that these videos are now surfacing. So what we have here from End Wokeness says, the plane that crashed in Toronto was a Delta flight operated by Endeavour Air, a small airline obsessed with all-female unmanned flights. So let's get into it.
Girls, come on! Leave the saving the world to the men? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yes, I know. We're not even going to bother with the music here because it's cringe and it's cancer. But we'll do this for purposes. All right, we'll just keep it down there. And as you can see here, they're all promoting female pilots or what have you, and it's insane, right? Where they're doing the Endeavour Air and all of the female pilots. And again, this has nothing to do with, specifically with the all-female pilot situation, where I don't think women cannot be female pilots or what have you. I don't actually agree with that. The problem that I have with is that they're forcing females to become pilots, or to do it for all in this age of DEI. And a lot of this is cringe and unnecessary. Again, we have more. This is from Lives of TikTok. It says, the pinned video on Delta's TikTok account.
Did somebody say
slave?
Yeah, it's cringe. I understand. It's cringe. It's so bad, man. I can't stand it, but we're here too. Now, we're going to get into the actual data now, where all this stuff here. So we have ChatGPT, and I have a mix of Grok here as well that is going to show a bit more information. So I typed in how many commercial pilots are female. I said, as of 2022, approximately 8.5% of commercial pilots in the United States are women, totaling around 8,925 female commercial pilots. Globally, the percentage of female commercial pilots varies by region. In India, for example, about 12.4% of commercial pilots are women, making it one of the leading countries in terms of female pilot representation. But let's just take this out real quick here. Let's just break this down, okay? Ladies, don't get offended. Don't get angry. but this is just reality. What we have here is that if India has one of the leading countries in terms of female pilots and pilot representation, and it's 12.4%, then that means anything below that is not one of the world's leading pilots for women, and it probably, and the only thing could be anything that could be is lower than 8%. While the proportion of female commercial pilots is still relatively low, there's been a steady increase in recent years, reflecting ongoing efforts to promote gender diversity within the aviation industry. So I tried to cut a graph here, and I didn't try to do very well with graph with ChatGPT, but it looked like it tried to do its best. But what we have here is just this, right? We have a bit more of this information here. So we have from Grok, and I said, what percent of commercial pilots are female? This comes out with a similar thing here. So that the most recent data, the percentage of commercial pilots who are female varies slightly depending on the source and region, but it generally ranges between 4% and 6% globally. In the United States, according to 2022 data from the Federal Aviation FAA, women accounted for approximately 5% of commercial pilots. Technically, it's 4.9, but I'm rounding up here. Come on, let's do a little math. This figure aligns with trends reported by organizations like the International Society of Women Airline Pilots, which estimated that women made up about 5% of airline pilots worldwide in 2020, with slight increases noted in subsequent years. Now, I wonder why that is. Is it perhaps because they're trying to force women or whatever to become pilots? And then, of course, I did this and created a graph, but they didn't have actually a good graph here. But they give us this information. It says here, flight hours. Commercial pilots typically accumulate hours over their careers, ranging from a few hundred new pilots to tens of thousands veteran pilots. The Airline Pilots Association suggests senior airline pilots might average 15,000 to 20,000 hours, while newer pilots might have 1,500 to 5,000 hours. Assumption: both male and female pilots follow similar career trajectories in terms of hours flown, but the sheer number of male pilots vastly outnumber females, skewing the total hours disproportionately toward males. My apologies. So again, they're showing here that new pilots have around 1,500 to 5,000 hours, while mid-career pilots will have 5,000 to 15,000 hours. And this is all 40% of pilots for both of these statistics here. And then it has veteran is 15 plus hours, 15,000 plus hours, was just 20% of pilots. So the female pilots, when they're new 200 pilots average around 655 hours, which is a 3.2 average hours. Well, again, we do the mid pilots are 10,000 hours, which is around 2 million hours. And then veteran pilots, which are 100, which is 17,500, is around 1.7 million hours. So you have that there. And total female hours is 4.4 million hours. Now, here's what we have with the males, right? The males are 3,800 pilots and 3.2 average hours, which is 12 million hours, which is this is new pilots in general. And then the mid pilots are 10,000 hours, which is 38 million hours. And then you have the veteran pilots, which is pretty much 1,700 to 500 hours, which is 33 million hours. So a total of 83.6 million hours. So again here, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. We have the fact that males immensely outrange females when it comes to hours, which is obvious when you're entering a mostly male-dominated field, right? And then, of course, this is just the case. Now, if that's the case here, that means maybe women just do not want to become pilots. Maybe women just don't want to enter the field, which is fine. There is nothing wrong with that, ladies. You should be able to do what you want without being forced to do so. That's all great and dandy. But of course, the DEI policies, we're saying we are only going to select from these categories, these women here, and even worse when they lower it down to just select just black females, because they are also doing that type of things too, is that they have to choose from a lower pool of people that are not adequate for the job, right? That's just straight up facts. That's just the reality here. And we have this here. Now, I only did this when it comes down to nursing, right? So, if we talk about the nursing of the what's in the workforce, about 12% of the nursing workforce in the United States is male, while the remaining 88% is female. So again, if we're going to be talking about, who wants to do more in the fields and what they want. Now, women particularly want to do more in the caring and nurturing fields. That's all great and dandy. It's in their biological nature to do so. Whereas men, in their biological nature, to do more of a proactive and less caring part of the nature, which is all fine and dandy. And respect to our female nurses, because I do think that they deserve it. But the point being here is that men and females go after different things. We have different desires, we have different wants, we have different everything. Yes, we are equal in the part that everybody should be equal in terms of what rights that they're given. But the difference is that not everything can be equal in terms of gender disparity, because again, men and women seek out different things, and this is completely fine. And obviously this is showing here that females are just not interested in becoming pilots. Plain and simple. And of course we have this Caroline Leavitt blasts irresponsible Chuck Schumer for blaming Delta plane crash on Donald Trump, even though it was in Canada. So let's see what she has to say here.
Investigation is still underway. And as you rightfully pointed out, John, this crash unfortunately took place in Canadian airspace with Canadian air traffic controllers overseeing it. And the facts about the FAA are that no air traffic controllers have been let go by Secretary Duffy or this new administration. In fact, Secretary Duffy has put great emphasis on hiring the best and the brightest air traffic controllers who want to be part of the FAA. And President Trump signed a very strong executive order to ensure that the FAA and all federal government agencies are focused on merit and skill-based hiring. We want the best and the brightest, the most competent individuals in positions, especially of public safety at the FAA, the Department of Transportation, and all departments across this federal government, so we can best serve the American people. So while Secretary Buttigieg and the Biden administration sat on their hands when it came to aviation safety for 4 years, this administration is taking it seriously and is actively recruiting the best and the brightest to join this very important field.
Okay, so you heard that, and I agree. The men and women should be chosen for the best of the job, regardless of skin color, regardless of whatever you want to call it, all right? That's just the way it should be, 100%. And the point being here is that this is not good for women, right? This is not good at all. And let me explain to you ladies why it's not good. When you come out and you get articles such as this, right, where you're seeing where a lot of females are being promoted like this, and then a lot of planes are crashing, you start hearing that DEI is part of the reason why some of these people got their jobs, and people are dying or simply causing major crashes because DEI has finally caught up to us and is causing massive problems. We're seeing massive issues here. And this puts a stain on the female, I guess you could say, reputation. And I'm not saying all females are like this, because that's not true. But if you take it from the perspective of people and you go look at it as like, who is going to want to trust females running their jets or running their planes when there's this many crashes going on, right? Let's just be perfectly honest. Maybe take a book of 100. The DEI is hurting females in a very big way. And when you see this in all these reports coming out, it ain't good. But you can say, oh, JMReports, you're the one that's reporting and saying how bad this is or whatever. It's like, yes, but I have to report on this for showing that this is an issue. And if I don't report on it and I don't talk about it, more people will end up dying because of me not reporting on it and not checking up on what's going on here in our country. So yes, it may hurt women, but maybe it may be up for women now to stand up and say, hey, no. I want to get in based on my merit and skill, not because of my gender or because I'm a female, but because I'm actually good at the job. That's the way it should be. And then you'll get really good females that are supposed to be pilots, and they will be trusted and revered. But if you do this woke DEI stuff where they're forced to be in here and they're just hiring and selecting the worst out of the worst because there's only so many of a pool you could choose from, you're only going to get negatives. You're only going to get serious problems, and it's showing that today. Now, I don't know if this pilot is female, But if it turns out to be, it's going to be a very bad look for you ladies, and you need to wake up and start realizing what the problem is. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Let's guys share. As always, take care, my friends.
Burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not yours.